Hi, I'm Scott Jensen, former Assembly Speaker.
And I'm Chuck Chvala, former Senate Majority Leader.
And we're the insiders. Well, the big news in state government this week is that more than $4 billion in unexpected revenues are going to come raining down on the legislature and the governor. Chuck, how do you think that'll affect the governor's reelection prospects?
Oh, it's an enormous boost because at the end of the day, every budget, and I remember this when every year we dealt with Tommy Thompson, every budget is the governor's budget at the end of the day when it's signed. And this means only good news can be delivered to the people of the state, whether it's a huge tax cut and or whether it's big money for public education, whether K-12 or the university, or a combination of the two, which is probably where it will end up. That's all great news for the state of Wisconsin. It's great news for Governor Evers because he's up for re-election. So it can only be a boost for him. I know that Robin Vos is trying to steal the thunder by saying, oh, we're going to have this huge tax cut. But at the end of the day, that's whistling past the graveyard. We all know from beginning to end, these are governor's budgets. He's the one who signs it at the end. It'll be a big positive for him.
Well, you know, one thing I would caution people, because the folks in Madison are downright giddy here with all the money that's coming in, is that, you know, more money actually makes it harder in divided government to reach a budget, because both sides look at the pile of money and they want to spend that money or return it based upon their ideological priorities. And so the Republicans are going to be pushing tax cuts. Governor Evers is going to be pushing education and healthcare and other things on his agenda, and they're going to be heading in opposite directions. And Chuck, you may remember how that happened once to you and me, where in the late June, we received a budget estimate that said we had an extra $1.2 billion, and we didn't arrive at a budget until October, as I recall. It took us 100 days to actually resolve that. So this may not go as quickly or smoothly as I think as a lot of people are thinking. In fact, they could head in opposite directions for quite some time. And I think that would affect the governor's reelection prospects, his ability seen as whether or not he can actually manage state government and work with the Republicans. The one thing I would say is that, you know, before this money showed up, everyone expected a close election. That's what we've been having lately in Wisconsin. Almost all of the major races have been decided by about 1% in hotly contested races. You would expect to see that again. Historically, Wisconsin tends to vote against the party in the White House in the race for governor, and that would normally be a knock for Governor Evers' reelection prospects. But I do think you're right that more money in the end, if they reach a budget agreement, might even allow the governor to do what we did back in the 90s, which was to both spend more money and to cut taxes at the same time.
Well, here's notice that Scott did not mention that October budget, which he said might hurt the governor. Not a single ad was run in our elections or in Scott's elections on the Assembly or Senate side about an October budget. And the reason for that is nobody cares around the state. They just care when it's done. But here's the big advantage that Evers gets politically versus the Assembly Republicans. The problem that Democrats have is they're progressives. They want to do things. Republicans don't believe in government and want to do nothing. And so Robin Vos denies Governor Evers anything, any win, absolutely no wins. $4 billion available? Oh my God, Robin Vos has to spend that on a tax cut. Now the Republicans want something. Now they have to negotiate. That is a big difference and a huge advantage for Governor Evers. And at the end of the day, the governor's budget and the dynamics that this changes with the Republican legislature is a huge advantage for the governor and will be a huge advantage for him next year.
I think you're right that the governor in the end gets the credit or the blame for a state budget. It always seems to work out that way. You know, this week we not only heard the budget news, we also saw the governor announce his reelection campaign. And I thought the announcement was strange in one particular respect, and that is he made his announcement just to the Democratic faithful at the state convention. Usually governors get in planes and go to every small town and wave with the crowd and cameras are there and everything. I just thought that was strange that he didn't do a series of public events. Maybe he wasn't interested in answering questions from the media. We'll see.
I think that the governor just made an announcement to the people in the Democratic Party because he wanted people to know that he's out there. There's plenty of time for people to get to know that the governor's running for re-election. And I don't think whether he went around in a plane or not will change 2 votes in the state of Wisconsin, but we'll see. See you next time.